Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Slope Club. It's time for another album review and discussion. You know how it is. It's me, boy, and I'm here with Tron and Josh. What's up, gang? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing okay.
Well, what are we talking about today?
We're gonna talk about some Gang Parade and their second album. Gang Parade takes themselves higher. Gang Parade, another WACK group. They started in 2014 under the name Planime with two members. This is after the first generation BIS disbanded, and then a bunch of members split and they made their own groups. In 2015, they changed their name again to POP, and then finally 2016 they changed to Gang Parade, and then in March 2020 they split into two different groups called Go to the Beds and Paradises. So now Gang Parade is effectively no more.
Sounds like a shonen anime arc, dude. Like all these different name changes.
There's a long history with
different arcs,
especially
in this group's history.
Especially with their OG member, right? Kamiya Saki, who was part of BIS. When she announced her graduation, that's when they finally decided to split into the two groups.
Yeah, it's WACK. It's a WACK thing where it just gets complicated sometimes with some groups.
They had up to like 10 members, I think, at one point.
Damn. 10? Wow.
They're one of the bigger groups, for sure.
I have a confession. I didn't know this was a WACK group until maybe like the first time I listened to this album. So I had no preference.
I think you were going to say 5 seconds ago.
No. I learned they were a WACK group after doing a little bit of research and getting an idea. So I went into this album completely blind. As you know, I'm not as cool as these other guys when it comes to keeping up with all the idol stuff nowadays. So went into this album review completely blind, had no idea what Gang Parade. I actually thought it was like a rap group, to be honest with you, like, gang. So I thought, one of like a lyrical school spinoff or something, but was pleasantly surprised to find out they were a rap group. So yeah,
this is their second album. Gang Parade takes themselves higher. It was released November 2017 with 10 tracks. It's kind of a mix of like rock and punk and electro and all these synth stuff. So
I'm the one that recommended this one because this was actually the first. I think this was the first WACK piece that I've heard.
This was their first entry into WACK, you're saying?
Yeah, you weren't aware of WACK or Gang Parade.
I heard like some songs here and there, but then like the first album that actually came out and I listened to was this one.
Oh wow!
So it holds a little bit of nostalgia for me.
That could bode well for the score. Maybe, I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah, let's get into the album. What are some of your favorites, Josh? Taking it back.
Ooh, I have two that I really like, and they're one of my favorite like WACK songs in general. So let me go with my first one. It's Plastic to Mercy.
Oh, my favorite album song.
Yeah. That's the OG, dude.
Like this song's chorus, it's like super well done, and like all the dips it has like really low moments and really energetic moments with the electronic vibes in there. It's really good.
That's the main reason why I like this song too, is like the chorus and like a theme that like I think I'm gonna talk about a little bit later on in this album discussion is that like I feel like a lot of these songs in this album would sound amazing live, and this is one of the songs that if I had the opportunity to see live, would be great. Because like the reason why I say that's a few of these songs on this album, and I think this might be a theme for Gang Parade or I don't know what it is, but like just has like strong EDM influences where the build up and the breaks and like the bass build up to like the chorus just reminds me of like songs you'd listen to like at a set for EDC or or like Ultra. This is one of the songs like the build up of to the chorus, and then when the chorus drops, it's super hype. That like I would love to see this song live. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite songs. It is my favorite song on the album, I should say.
Yeah, this Plastic to Mercy. That's Planime, right? Planime. This is their original track when there were still two people as Planime, and so yeah, it has all that cool kind of fusion of electro EDM and like rock. influences. Yeah, I really like it. I was kind of into BIS up until they disbanded, and so Kamiya Saki was the original member of Gang Parade. She was one of the BIS members, and so I kind of followed all the other members right when they split, and so this was the only group that kind of stuck with WACK. The other members who split, they went into they went and made their own idol groups, right? Like Maison Book Girl, we talked about before.
Yes.
This duo came and it's like, oh, this is a different kind of sound from what BIS was doing at the time. So I was really digging it. I didn't really follow Planime until they became Gang Parade. So there was like that 2-year gap or so where I was just kind of like, yeah, it's
just to make sure this is a really old song then, like from like back when they had the previous before they were called
2014.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And this song wasn't on the first album.
Throwback.
I'm glad they've added it on. That's good.
This is re-recorded with the rest of the members, right? And it's not just 2 people.
New version with the new members. Yeah, makes sense.
And if you want to hear what I think is a better version of the song, go listen to the WACK and Scramble's work version of the song. It has I Know the End in there, and she really belts it out for the song.
I will check that out.
Yeah, that album's cool. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but it's like a bunch of like different WACK idols, right? And like their producers coming together. Anyway, that's not the album we're...
No, that's not the one. But I do recommend it.
What's your second favorite song on the album, Josh? You said you had 2.
Beyond the Mountain.
Oh yeah. One of my favorites too.
That's a very catchy song too. Yeah, I like that.
Like this one's more rock centered compared to Plastic to Mercy. But it goes like into the rock sound to like it gives it time to shine in the rock sound, like especially in the chorus, which I really like. There's a lot of vocal stuff that I really enjoy in there, from like going into like doing the fast talking in a deeper voice, and then going to like high pitched all of a sudden. There's like a lot of stuff in the vocals that I think is just really good in this song.
I really like this song also. Really enjoy the like changes in pace, right? Like Josh mentioned, it kind of slows down in the verse sections where they kind of like talk, sing, kind of, they're just kind of saying the lyrics, but then it starts building up and then the melody starts coming in. And then when the chorus comes, everything is like moving and they're just like singing, right? These like long vocal lines. The chorus part is like so good because they build up into it really well. So,
yeah, it's a definite good payoff.
Yeah, the chorus. The chorus is my favorite part of the song, and like to your point when you're talking about like the singing and talking, like it kind of remind me of like, if you guys ever know about poetry jams, like when you like go up on stage and you do like a poetry, but you're like rapping at the same time. It had that vibe to it where like you go up and like you rap a little bit, but you're just like you're doing like a poetry like session of rhythm to it. So like I kind of dig that, not really something I seek for, but I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed it in the song. So that's why, like my favorite. It's funny when Josh says, because those are my 2 favorite songs are Plastic to Mercy and Beyond the Mountain. So I think, and also one more thing about the song, in my opinion, like it's rough around the edges. So I think like to Josh's point where it makes you appreciate it, the payoff in some aspects. Because like I think it's a little rough. Because I guess like if the whole like poetry jam, singing, like talking thing isn't your speed. Like I think when you get to the chorus, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really good. The build up to that chorus is really good. So I think like that charm about that song specifically, I enjoy a lot about it.
Actually, I think that's just like I think that's a thing people appreciate with WACK in general. They're not like super polished, and as this kind of like rough around the edges, makes it a little bit more like, I don't know, sincere or something like.
I think of it like it's polished to have rough edges.
Yeah, but not all the way,
Like when we reviewed, it was Bish, right? When we reviewed the Bish album a while back, I kind of got that sense. I don't think I brought it up during that album, but like now that you mentioned it, that theme is definitely noticeable, I should say, in this album, and just I guess WACK overall. I'm not too exposed to WACK like you guys are, but I definitely see that theme both in the Bish album and this album as well. So yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, so you guys have the same favorite songs.
1 and 2. How about you, boy? What's your
2 is Beyond the Mountain for me, but 1 is actually the opening track.
Oh,
Iminai Uta.
Interesting.
The song just goes so hard, dude. I really like the kind of like industrial rock, like electro thing they got going on, and it's like
I made notes. I wrote like this is something that a DJ would use to like intro their set.
Oh yeah.
Like you would like go to like a DJ set and like they'll do like they have like a set for an hour. This is like a song that you would use to like start off your session, right? And I got that vibe, and I definitely another song I'd love to see live. You know, it's just like has that industrial rock in like EDM vibes that like Boy was talking about. Like I definitely would love to see this song live.
it's just so like
It hits.
grimy sounding.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you just like mobbing deep with your dudes, just like. And so before this album came out, I didn't listen to any of the singles. Like Beyond the Mountain was a single.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
You know, I didn't listen to it, so I just came into the album without any previews, I guess, of any of the tracks. And so this was the first track. I'm like, oh, let's go, dude. It's freaking goes hard.
Yeah, right. Just hits you in the face right at the start of the album.
And that's what I really like about, I guess, this album and this, I guess, era of Gang Parade in general. They kind of had this like style.
Really, like for me, on just one more note on this first song is that like that griminess that Boy was talking about, like it's a fine line for me because sometimes it can get too grimy where it's just like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about this, but like it
I feel like I need a
rides
shower.
it rides the line where I'm like, all right, I can mess with this. Like I really enjoy where like you're bopping, you don't mind, you know, just getting your head banging on because yeah, there's some songs that like, you know, this is in this genre, not so much Gang Parade, but like this genre where like you get like super grimy, we're just like I think it's too much. I think y'all need a bath because it's a little too grimy for me. But like this song specifically just rides the line.
Just dials it back just enough.
For my liking. Yeah, for my liking, yeah. It's just the right amount.
No,
for
yeah, me too, totally. Because, you know, like they can do this live and like their fans, the oldest, can just be like, yeah, but not like get completely turned off.
Yeah, for Gang Parade, I feel like they had a really consistent sound, especially during this era. And like nowadays, like some WACK artists kind of have a similar sound. Like sometimes you can't tell which song is which. But I feel like for Gang Parade, they've always been a little bit separate from everyone else. Kind of like how Bish is super separate from everyone else.
Yeah, that's like my biggest thing with WACK now. A lot of their songs sound like I can't tell who's doing what song. So yeah, especially in Gang Parade's like latter stuff. Right before they disbanded, they had songs that sounded like Bish songs.
Sound like Empire songs.
This album in particular has like its own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into some of the other tracks.
How about we go with Gang Parade?
Oh, self-titles.
Yeah, this one, like, compared to the first track, it's a little bit more of a gradual to the harder rock. Again, with the chorus, there's that heavy distortion in the guitar and everything. And then, like, there's screaming in there and everything. Like, I think this song, like, is a little bit different than some of the other songs, especially with, like, the screaming and everything. I really enjoy the song. I'll say that. It might not be for everyone. Like, I could see, like, the screaming turning off people or, like, the heavy distortion, like, not being someone's taste. But for me, I really enjoyed it.
I liked it too. It's kind of has this like anthemic feel to it with the hey.
Oh yeah.
Of course, it still has that like electro rock kind of blending of the sounds, which to me really stands out.
The breakdown, like the chorus part with the headbanging stuff, like again, it kind of similar in some aspects to the intro song. That like I definitely would love to hear this song live and just bang your head to and like really get into it. So a very catchy song, very fitting. I think it lived up to the self-titled single. I was disappointed with it. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Futsuu no Nichijou? What do you guys think of that one? A little bit different, right?
Yeah, this is when it like really mellows out. But I think they don't just get there, right? It's not like some hard rock song and then it gets here. They kind of like get slower, right? And then if you're listening to it in order, it kind of slowly arrives to this tempo, right? And not like...
That's a good point, yeah.
It doesn't just drop off from like all the energy.
I really enjoyed this song. Like it's very like retro vibes, like very like breezy, like very just like
that's exactly what I wrote.
free,
Breezy.
summery, breezy vibe, and like
Yeah.
something that like if you listen to the first two songs, you don't even think about it. They had this in their like artillery, right? Like so, like I was pleasantly surprised in a good way, you know, that like they were able to bring this down. I think this and another song. I think actually the next song, Foul, this song and Foul really showcased the girls' vocals, in my opinion. Like how I was pretty impressed how well the girls were able to sing and just like be able to belt out some of these songs and sound pleasantly nice. So yeah, I actually like this retro breezy sound. I was pleasantly surprised.
I think it comes in at a moment where like it's a nice break from everything.
Sure, yeah.
It kind of
Right,
lets you like take a little breath and be like, all right, I'm ready for the rest of the album just to hit me, which I think is really nice where it's placed, especially after the previous song. We'll talk about that a little later.
Feels like a afternoon. You know, the sun's coming down, right?
I feel like I'm on a Mediterranean like beach front somewhere.
Yeah, it feels nice, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
breezy. The sea breeze is hitting me in the face, and like sun's going. I'm eating like tapas during happy hour, and watching the sun go down. Like
It's a nice change, right? For them to bring this out, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. They can do this kind of style too.
And it wasn't forced. I think like the thing is like I always have my imagination of like WACK albums or WACK groups in general just like being like really crazy and like just super like alternative idol, you know, alternative rock. But like this didn't feel forced. I felt like it's something that like they definitely didn't have to do it just because to be different. I felt like it's something that they definitely felt like it was in their arsenal. If that makes any sense, right? Like,
Yeah, even though it's a different genre, it still feels like their style, right?
yeah, it's just really unique.
Oh, you already mentioned Foul.
Another good, like I said, another good like song that definitely showcases the girls' vocals, in my opinion. I'm not sure what you guys feel, but like a little bit of the road though. Like I think they sound nice, but like the song itself, over like holistically, just a little middle of the road. Nothing really like that sticks out, in my opinion. I'm not sure what you guys think.
I like how the song builds up. You know, you got like these drums in the back, kind of just like going off. But once you get to like the chorus part, everything kind of like opens up and all the instrumentation comes in. Appreciate that. I like how it sounds. It's very like big and like kind of soaring.
Oh yeah, that's the word I would use. Soaring. Yeah,
That's a good way. Yeah.
I enjoy the crowd singing in the back.
Ah,
For some reason, that really sticks out for me.
right. So like, if you do see it live, then it'd be that kind of song, right? Everyone
It'd just be the crowd making that sound for you.
Let's go back to before Futsuu no Nichijou, just jumping around. Are you kidding?
We're jumping around. You kidding?
I like the kind of like some more playful sound, right? Kind of bouncy,
The heavy synth, catchy synth.
and then we kind of like it's kind of like this retro synth style that I like.
Giving like 80s vibes, right?
Yeah, but then like it's contrasting with like these crunchy guitars. It's pretty cool.
Just like it reminds me like what I said about Beyond the Mountain. Like it has like those rough around the edges kind of vibe to the song specifically. Like I think like the guitar sounds and like just like the catchy synth. It's like it's charming in a sense, and I really enjoy the chorus. Definitely the best part of the song is the chorus, very catchy. But yeah, I like the song a lot.
Yeah, and I like that they have this too, right? Because Iminai Uta is all like heavy, and in Gang Parade is more of like this is us. And then you get to this track and it's more like playful and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, they're not all serious either, right? So it's these first 4 or 5 tracks really show kind of like all their sides.
It's very versatile. Yeah, that's a good point of putting it. Like the first 5 tracks shows like how the versatility of being able to produce some pretty great songs, in different genres, and not feel like it's forced or not feel like they're like lacking in any sense. So it's a good point. Definitely, the first half of this album is definitely very impressive. The versatility.
And then there's I Need You, I Love You, I Want You.
Are we gonna say it?
Say what? Whatever could you mean, Tron?
This song is probably the worst song in the album because there's no reference to AKB. I'll just say it. There's no reference to heavy rotation.
It's Tron's heavy rotation.
No,
that's
this is my least favorite song in the album. Kidding, but not kidding. A little bit. I'll just say it. I'll be the one to say it. But besides that, I'll let you guys go ahead and talk about the song.
I kind of like the vocal work. They like layer, especially building up to the hey 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 part, where they like sing over each other. But when they do get to the hey 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 part, like there's all these like big synth sounds that I like. I like that it's like calm for most of the song, and then hey hey hey, big synth sounds.
That's what makes the song for me. Those hey hey heys, like I don't know, just stick out, especially when comparing to the rest of the song, like you said. And then like the melody, I enjoy in the vocals in the song.
This song and I like this whole album in general would be like so much better, like amplified if you see it live, because there's so many
yes.
like parts written that would make for like a really good live experience. All these chantings and stuff.
Yeah, like the build up to like the bass build up to like the actual chorus. Like I think that's why I kind of talked about in the beginning of this video is that like a lot of these songs just have like structured or like EDM electronic songs that you'd love to see live. Like when they start building up the bass and then like wait for that payoff, that drop, and I think it works well for the song specifically. So, did you ever see Gang Parade live, Josh?
I didn't see him. I only saw this. I think I only seen this.
I would love to like talk to someone who's seen Gang Parade live and just get their thoughts on it, because I feel like we always say like, oh, this song would sound great live. I would love to see this group live, but I think definitely Gang Parade has like risen to the charts for me, at least, to like I would really like to see them live and just see them perform some of these songs. If this is like what I should expect out of them, because definitely fits the bill for me.
They just had this kind of like punk energy that I feel like none of the other WACK groups really. I mean, they had their own thing within WACK too.
Like it felt a little more natural for them, right?
Yeah.
Now you can just watch music videos, John. It's too late for you.
I know. Damn
what about
it.
the other? I haven't followed the other, like when they split the two groups. I haven't followed them at all. So
are those groups still active?
They're supposedly they carry the spirit of Gang Parade.
I think one of them is really light, and the other one's like maybe more of Gang Parade style.
So maybe they have the opportunity to revert back to this like library of songs, right? They everyone like surprise like a set list and be like, hey, here we go, guys.
Let's talk about Tai.
Spooky song.
It sounds pretty different from the rest, right? It has like these strings,
the violin chord in the chorus. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the new metal style guitars in the verse. Like the riffs is kind of new metal sounding to me.
The violin in the chorus is like my favorite part. I think like
it's the strings that set it off.
Yeah, I enjoy the song. Yeah,
I can see this being like a horror anime opening for some reason, like especially in the chorus.
Yeah, the Hounder. I agree.
Not bad. I just like the guitars.
No, the guitar is a good point.
That Limp Bizkit, let's go, dude.
Yeah, if I were to pick one that maybe isn't my favorite, maybe it's this one just because it sounds a little bit different than the regular Gang Parade.
Yeah, there's less of the electronic influence, I think, in this one.
That's interesting. Because like I think the next song, which is the last song,
the very last track, Car Radio.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite song of the album.
This does even count.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like this is there.
Yeah, it's short.
It's like a closer.
It sounds like a bonus track that kind of like just helps finish it off.
It's like, huh? Where's the rest of it, right? Like,
yeah, right. It sounds unfinished, maybe, but at least they rap. I don't know, which is different from the rest of the album too.
Do the other albums? I'm gonna defer to Josh. Maybe you two, boy, you can answer this. But are there other albums that they have released kind of follow the same like ending and like kind of closing their album? These kind of like short, like minute and a half songs, because it just felt like out of place in a sense. Like I don't really know how to constitute it, right?
Nah.
It felt out of norm.
Just short. I don't know.
Yeah, the song's short, and like it felt like, but the minute and a half that did play was pleasant, but like I want more, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
sounded like, it's hard to judge the song because I felt like it was incomplete in my mind. Like I don't know, it's hard.
Yeah, I get you. Like it just ends, and it's like, oh, because I forgot about this song, and then when re listening to it, and it came on, and it's like, what? It's over? Like, and check. Oh, it's only like a minute and 20 seconds. What happened?
A little bit of a letdown. Am I? To be honest, like kind of a little, because this album overall, like from beginning to the end, to this last song was pretty great. I think it was a very strong song, album I should say. And then like when the last song came through and kind of like felt underwhelming, kind of I don't know, man. Maybe I'm taking it. Maybe I'm being too critical, but kind of it's a little let down.
I think especially comparing it to like the previous ones where like it was like low and then there was a payoff, low then payoff, or like a dip in, or a deeper sounding verse and then a strong chorus. But then this one it just stays kind of constant, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. There was no payoff. I'm just like, bruh, you can't do this to me at the end of the album.
Right, they could have, I don't know, maybe made a nice like rock ballad or type thing towards the end of the song.
Yeah, then trail it off at that or something at least.
A little let down.
I just think of this as a bonus track.
It's a 9-track album.
Josh is a glass half full kind of person when it comes to this album, I see.
Yeah, so we've gone through and talked about all the tracks. Let's get to our individual thoughts and scores.
I'm gonna give this album a 8 out of 10. Very solid album overall. Again, like I mentioned before, this is my first foray into Gang Parade, and I was pleasantly surprised. Definitely some great songs overall, and I really love and the whole structure of some of these songs where like I would love to see them live, like the EDMs ties and like the electronics ties to like the build up and the payoffs would be awesome to see live. Could it have been an 9 out of 10? Honestly, it could have been an 9 out of 10 if the ending song and the way the end album wasn't such a letdown. But overall, some great versatility when it comes to songs. If you know me, not really my cup of tea when it comes to like idol music, but I was pleasantly surprised how well the production and how well some of these songs turned out. But overall, 8 out of 10, very solid album.
I will also give this an 8 out of 10. This is one of my favorite albums when it came out in 2017. It's not like idol albums, but it's just like albums that came out from Japan, I guess, in that year. I really liked this album when it came out. I like the mix of sounds, got that electro EDM type stuff with the harder rock stuff. Got like a bunch of fuzzy guitars, got a bunch of fuzzy synths. It's cool, like merging, dude. They also go through a good range of moods, right? You go like super hard and thrashes around and stuff, but then you get all chill, you get all like happy and playful too, and get all emotional. And so it's like a lot of versatility, showing a lot of versatility from the group. And also like the style they went with in this album just stands out, not only within like WACK, but just like alt idols, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there were other idol groups doing this kind of style, but like Gang Parade, like really stood out with this album to me. So yeah, an 8 out of 10.
I was on the border between 8 and 9, but I think after everything that we discussed, I will transition over to a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
Oh,
There we go.
he went up.
The reason for this is, of course, it holds a little bit of nostalgia value, but I think the reason why it holds that is because of the solid sounds that are in here. And these are just sounds that I've really fallen in love with. And I think this is kind of what introduced me to WACK in general and other types of more of a alt idol, if you want to call it, type of sound. And this was kind of the introductory to it and kind of opened my eyes to it. It varies a lot in the actual songs, but I think it keeps really hold of the center that is Gang Parade. And even though we were talking earlier about the last song, I think of that more as like a smoke break after like a wild concert that happened or something.
Oh man, I need a cigarette.
That's a great analogy. You could have ran with that in a different way, but that's a great analogy. All right. I like that.
I think it's a shame that I never saw the group live. I would have really enjoyed to see them live. They split off now, so if you're interested, you can go ahead and check them out. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. And counting that all together, that is an 8 out of 10 from all of us.
Nice.
Very solid. Very impressed.
Nicely done, gang.
So if you enjoyed Gang Parade or didn't like it, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. But if you want to stay updated with our future videos, go ahead and subscribe. You could even hit the little bell button to get notified on your browser. But that does it all for us this time. You'll catch us on the next album discussion. Goodbye.
Bye.